Good morning, my friends. It's Thursday, January 18th, 2024. I, of course, am Hammer with Originator Success here with your daily rate update, the only place on the web where you guys get to be a part of the conversation. Yes, I do this for you free each and every weekday. Why? I want you to be informed. I want you to know what's going on. So anyway, remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time as I do these videos. Love having you live on the show. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Let me know that you're here. If you're watching on the replay, do me a favor. Just put in a hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here and join us live tomorrow. Anyway, remember, you can go ahead and smash that like button, tag a hello friend, share us in a group if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, hit that thumbs up, maybe make a comment for me. All that stuff helps the algorithm. Really like to see this thing take off. I got to put some effort into it, but so do you. So help me out. Say some good things in the comments. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look and see where we're at this morning. Rate sheets today, very likely to be similar to yesterday. Mortgage-backed securities are starting the day off basically okay. They were down a little bit here. You see we've got some up and down movement. Right now up 5 basis points. I'm not going to get too excited about this, though. It is going to help rate sheets today to basically hold steady after losing ground the last couple of days. However, bonds, I feel like their hold on this is tenuous at best. I feel like we can really lose ground from here. Taking a look at the 5-day chart, you can see that that's actually what has been happening. We capped out last week, and we've been losing ground since. Looking at the 10-year Treasury yield, 4.11 right now, pushing up. We have not been this high since December. Back in December, we were in the higher fours here. We just barely touched above the fours here in January. But we are seeing kind of a creep higher from here. And this is very likely what's going to continue to happen. This morning, we did see some kind of jumpy movement. Jobless claims came in with the lowest number in quite a while. In fact, let's take a look here. Here is your headline. Jobless claims plunged to 187,000, lowest since September of 2022. But when we take a look here, you'll see that we had a big dip when that happened, and then it rebounded. It kind of came back. So it's just one more sign of a strong labor market. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. We got a really good chance of seeing this wash away today and seeing things continue to kind of go back and get worse. I think that if we were to draw a line here, we're kind of testing the low. We opened up on Friday, January 5th. We opened at 99.64. That was the low point. And we'll probably test that again today. And I think we're going to break it. I think mortgage bonds are going to continue to move lower from here. All right. My lock advice is if it closes in the next 30 days or so, I would consider locking. I think we are definitely seeing this momentum shift. Basically, the outlook has definitely turned in the other direction. Remember that we were looking at, let me bring this up on the screen, and also, there you go. Oh, I got too many things open here. Let me close this. Okay. All right. So come on, turn on. Taking a look here. Here's kind of what I'm looking at. So it started a couple days ago when Fed Governor Christopher Waller really just kind of made some common sense comments of, hey, the data doesn't support the idea that the Fed needs to cut rates in March, and we're not going to cut that aggressively. So markets have been pricing it in, but it's been more of a desire than a forecast. There's zero expectation, 97% expectation that we're going to stay exactly the same, 0% expectation of a rate cut in January. Markets are losing steam on the idea of a rate cut in March. Now, remember, this has gone all the way down to being a 25% probability that they would keep rates the same, 75% probability that they were going to cut rates. Now you're looking at about a 55% probability that they're going to cut rates. And I think this is going to continue to move lower. I don't think that markets are going to get another rebound of momentum thinking that this is going to happen, right? So the reality is that mortgage rates kind of priced down a little too quick, too much, and we've got some room to see them creep higher. And as we see the expectation of this rate move, that's going to make a big difference. So this is very well said here on Bloomberg and the 5 things to start your day. Recanting rate bets. Bond traders are heeding central bank warnings and abandoning wagers that the Fed will cut interest rates in March. Now, it's not just here. Remember, we're getting these same things overseas. The European Central Bank, they are saying that they're not going to cut rates either. So, and this is a global economy. You got to remember all that. They're now seeing around a 50% chance of a quarter point reduction in the federal funds target in the first quarter versus a rate cut in March that was seen as almost a sure thing last month, just a couple weeks ago. Behind the rethink, stronger than expected U.S. retail sales. That's the what have you done for me lately answer. Retail sales were strong, but the CPI inflation data didn't really show any overwhelming improvement. And the labor market data at the beginning of the month came in kind of strong. There's really just nothing that has pointed to seeing why we would see the market need to be energized with a Fed rate cut. It's just not there. Markets continuing to kind of price this in. Also, the idea that we're at 5.25 now, they're looking at, hey, we're going to need 6 rate cuts or 150 basis points if they double up any of those. And I think we're going to see this kind of lose ground. It's just not really there. So we will see rates continue to move lower this year, but we're not. It looks like what we've seen, kind of that jump, has kind of put us in a position again. We don't have to worry about reaching back to October and those terrible rates that we got then, but we do have to worry about rates creeping a little bit higher from here. We've already seen it start happening, and we do have some room to see it move a little bit more than that. So that is the outlook. That's what's going on. Remember, if you'd like to get our written lock advice, you can go ahead and sign up for that at www.ratelockadvice.com. Get an email to your inbox each and every weekday morning, kind of highlighting what's going on in the markets, as well as seeing the show live. You should also consider signing up for our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. They're $7 a month. We send out a morning alert, an afternoon wrap up, and then anytime that there's a high likelihood of reprices, we go ahead and notify you, help you protect your pipeline. Had some nice kudos yesterday, it was the day before, from helping some people get some loans locked before we started to see this momentum shift. Also, remember to check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Find out how we help you get loans from Google and social media. And last, if you want to get notified that I'm going live every morning with a free text alert, you can go ahead and sign up for that. There's a cool QR code. You can go to hmmr.io/live-reminder or use the Restream link that pops up in this as well. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and see if you guys have anything to say, and we'll go from there. Looking at the chat. Where's my chat widget here? Looking at the chat. Good morning, Candido. Good to see you up there in the cold Northeast. It's cold down here too. It's 28 degrees. We're actually quite chilly. Good morning, Kyle and Zekas. Brandy Brickler, great to have you there. Ron Siegel said, will we retest the highs? The highs for rates? No, not even close. We don't have to worry about that. But we are going to see them creep higher, of course, is where we're going. Good morning, Cindy Pulliam. Great to have you there. Scott Menster, good morning. Mallory Fodiatis, good morning. Monica Dinkins, good morning. Kenny Rivard, great to have you here. Deb Dickinson, lovely as always. Mark Warner, great to have you out there in Arizona. Great to see all of you. And Cindy, here you are up on the screen. So, all right, my friends, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic day. Again, the lock advice is to go ahead and consider locking. We just have more of a chance of seeing rates creep up a little bit higher from here, seeing pricing worsen than we do to improve. This morning, mortgage bonds are kind of holding their own, but I think that's just some profit taking. I don't think it's really going to hold all that long. Robert said, I'm still confused about all this. 2019, we were telling people that the Fed rate does not dictate mortgage rates, but now we're monitoring Fed rates to dictate where rates are heading. Not. That's not true, Robert. The Fed rates always influence mortgage rates. What we always talk about is that the Fed does not set rates, and that when you see a Fed rate hike, it's already been priced into the markets and bonds. The way that it influences everything, it all has to do with what's going on with mortgage bonds, mortgage-backed securities, the 10-year Treasury yield. All of this very, very much influenced by what the Fed does. That's why the Fed takes those actions. It's why they are raising rates. So mortgage bonds are losing ground because they will gain ground when the idea that the Fed is pivoted and will start cutting rates. Then we'll see that mortgage-backed securities those will drop as well. Like we would invest into the 5 coupon and the 4.5 because the yields will be equivalent or better than what's going on there. So that's why you're seeing certain things here. But yeah, no, it absolutely is. And very much so where the Fed goes this year is where mortgage rates are going to go and where the economy will go. Now, we could also argue that inflation is the number one killer of bonds and bond yields. So as inflation dips, rates will continue to move lower because there is less risk that the yields that you get today will be worth less because inflation. So all of that kind of it, hopefully that clears it up a little bit, but yeah, very much there. And Ron said, no, retest of the 10-year treasury highs. Let's take a look at those 10-year treasury highs of when you may be talking about. Remember, we were up to 5%. Are we going to test that? I don't think so. I don't think. What do you think, Ron? I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. So we were up here testing the fives and that 5% level. I don't think we have to worry about that. I do think we'll get back up into the 4.3s, somewhere around this 100-day moving average. I think that if we see the 10-year treasury yield push back up into the 4.25, 4.35 range, I think that'll be very realistic. I think that's going to happen. I think we should definitely not see it move much higher than 4.5. Hopefully we don't see it go to 4.5, but I think 4.5 would be our cap. That's kind of what would be on there. It said that you have said it would not surprise you to see us test 4.5 on the 10-year. So yeah, I think that we are probably coming to that same conclusion at the same time, my friend. And I think that that's probably the worst level. What that means for mortgage-backed securities, is basically look at where we were at 4.5 when we were testing that here. That was back in November. And then you take a look at where mortgage-backed securities were in November, and they were somewhere in that 97.5 to 98 area, right around here. And I think we could see that dip down again. Also brings us very near this 100-day moving average, which is 97.86. So I think we could see mortgage-backed securities drop all the way down. Obviously, if the 10-year goes up and tests that 4.5 level, I think mortgage-backed securities would come down. What does that mean to rate sheets? It means that these 6.88 turns to 7.25 to 7 3/8. We'll see rates go 0.5 point higher if that happens. So we don't want to see that happen, but it absolutely could happen. And that's what we're trying to protect against. And that's why we want to go ahead and lock. So, all right, Robert, I hope that did clarify for you. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see all of you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make it a fantastic day. Bye-bye.